Dear students, now we will see the history of social work profession in Pakistan. In 1951, when the government of Pakistan sought the assistance of the United Nations with a view to formulate a social welfare policy or programs befitting a free country, a recently free country. A year later, the first batch of the UN social welfare consultants arrived in Karachi, and this marked the beginning of a new orientation in the field of social work profession and social welfare in Pakistan. In the absence of trained social workers, the UN consultants advised the government to give priority to social work training, as this is a fact that without qualified social workers, the social welfare projects and programs cannot be properly implemented within the country. On the recommendations of the UN advisor, UN experts, the government of Pakistan, the Health Division, drew up a plan for initiating an organized social welfare program in the country in 1953. In the initial stage, the government's responsibility were confined to imparting social work training, encouraging voluntary social workers, and sponsoring of urban and rural community development projects. The government therefore set up a planning board in 1953 to prepare a plan of economic development for the country. A social welfare section was created in the planning board to investigate social problems and social needs arising out of the social change and economic development in the country, to review the social policies and legislation in the various fields of social welfare, and to prepare a 5-year plan for social welfare programs. This section was later on named as National Planning Commission. Then a council was created in 1956 named as the National Council of Social Welfare to stimulate the welfare activities of the voluntary organization by providing financial assistance and consultative services in the field of social welfare, to establish the social welfare programs and policies in the country. Subsequently, provincial councils were formed later on in the provinces with the objectives of helping the voluntary welfare agencies both in the expansion and coordination. Then there is the establishment of Directorate General of Social Welfare in the country. The Central Directorate of Social Welfare was abolished in 1962 as a result of decentralization of certain subjects under the new constitution. And in September 1964, the Directorate General of Social Welfare was created in the government of the then West Pakistan. In July 1970, one directorate and one council of social welfare were established in each province of Pakistan. And if we see at the functions of the directorate at the time, the most important function of the directorate was to establish and supervise community development projects, medical, social welfare projects, and school social work units in the country, to set up socio-economic centers, daycare centers, and model orphanages. Another function of social welfare department was the registration, supervision, counseling to the voluntary social welfare agencies, and to undertake social work research as well, and to recommend and draft social legislation, and to set rules and procedures to run all these social welfare institutions in the country. And another important function of social welfare department was to create the coordination of all social welfare programs. In other words, two organizations were principally being set up by the provincial governments to look after social welfare programs in their respective provinces. In 1979, a separate Department of Social Welfare was established. Afterwards, in 1996, the segment of Women Development, and in 1998, the segment of Baitul Mal was also attached with Social Welfare Department. Later on in 2012, a separate Department of Women Development was established, and the segment of Women Development was separated from Social Welfare and Baitul Mal Department.